It's Kendrick's Not Like Us, and it's taken the top spot on the rap digital sales charts, pushing Drake's Nokia down to number 2.
Wow, so this isn't just a random chart swap. This is like a direct hit.
Exactly. It's a diss track, basically. A song where an artist calls out another one, usually through some clever lyrics and wordplay.
So Not Like Us was Kendrick's response to something Drake had said in his music.
That's right. It was seen as Kendrick's comeback to some of Drake's jabs.
So they were going back and forth with these diss tracks, like a
That-
lyrical boxing match.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it's interesting that even though this all happened almost a year ago, Kendrick's track is still making waves.
It's definitely making a statement, but let's be honest, Drake is no stranger to the top of those charts, right?
Oh no, not at all. Drake is a chart-topping machine. I mean, he's got like 23 #1 hits on the rap charts and over 130 songs that have made it into the top 10. It's pretty amazing.
So for Kendrick to take that top spot from that is huge. But I'm hearing that Not Like Us is doing more than just topping one chart.
You're right. It's actually killing it across multiple charts. Right now, it's #1 on both the rap digital sales and the R&B hip-hop charts. And it's holding strong in the top 5 on other major charts, like streaming. Even it hit #2 on the global charts.
Wow, so this one song is having a serious moment, even though it's not new. I feel like there's more to the story here. What else is going on that could explain this resurgence?
You're on to something. This isn't just some random song from a year ago becoming popular again. There have been some major events recently that have put Kendrick back in the spotlight, and that's got to be playing a role.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of events are we talking about?
Well, first of all, Kendrick swept 2 of the biggest awards at the Grammys. He won Record of the Year and Song of the Year.
Right, the Grammys are like the music industry's Super Bowl. And wait, speaking of the Super Bowl, didn't Kendrick perform there recently too?
He did. Just days after his Grammy wins, he was on stage at the Super Bowl halftime show. And it was a performance that had everyone talking. Millions of people who might not have been familiar with his music were suddenly exposed to his talent on a massive scale.
It's got to have a huge impact, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect storm for a song to blow up. You've got the buzz from the diss track, and the Grammys put him front and center, and then bam, Super Bowl performance. It's a recipe for a chart comeback.
So it sounds like these real-world events, these big moments in Kendrick's career, they've had a direct impact on the music itself, bringing this track back to life and reigniting the whole rivalry with Drake.
Exactly. It's fascinating how music isn't just about sounds and lyrics. It's tied to everything else that's going on. It's like it's picking up on the energy of these events and turning it into something we can listen to and debate about.
Yeah, it really is amazing to see how it all connects. So this whole chart battle, is it really all about beef? Or is there something more to it?
It's a really good question. And it's something that a lot of people have been talking about, fans and critics alike. It might look like just a personal feud on the surface, like they're just trying to one-up each other.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But I'm sensing there's got to be more to it, right?
I think so. I mean, you got to remember both Kendrick and Drake are at the top of their game. They're considered 2 of the most innovative and influential artists in hip-hop right now.
Absolutely.
And when you have that level of talent and ambition, there's bound to be some competition.
So it's less about a personal vendetta and more about pushing each other creatively.
Exactly. It's like iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
They're constantly trying to outdo each other and in a way making each other better.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. So this rivalry could actually be beneficial for both artists.
I think so.
Yeah.
It keeps them on their toes, forces them to keep evolving and experimenting. And in the end, we, the listeners, benefit because we get to hear the amazing music that comes out of all that creative tension.
I like that perspective. It's like a symbiotic relationship, even if it gets a little heated sometimes.
Yeah.
But this chart battle has definitely got fans picking sides. It's like a classic sports rivalry.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's crazy how music can evoke that kind of passion and loyalty. And it's not just hip-hop either. Think about the Beatles and the Rolling Stones or Tupac and Biggie. These rivalries, they become part of the story. They add another layer to it all.
It's like everyone wants to be on the winning team.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how these rivalries become part of the music itself. Do you think Kendrick's Not Like Us would have the same impact if it wasn't for this whole back and forth with Drake?
That's a tough one. It's hard to say for sure, but I do think the context adds something to the song, It gives it an edge. It makes you listen to it differently.
It's like watching a boxing match where, the history between the fighters. Every punch has more meaning.
Exactly. It becomes more than just a song. It's a moment in their story.
And I kind of love that. It makes following their careers that much more engaging. You see how they evolve as artists, how they respond to each other.
It's like a real-life drama unfolding in real time. We get to see these artists at the top of their game, pushing boundaries. It's pretty cool to be a part of it.
It really highlights how music charts aren't just about popularity. They reflect what's going on in culture and society, even in the personal lives of these artists.
Right, they're like a snapshot of what people are connecting with. And in this case, it's a story of rivalry resilience and how those huge moments can shape an artist's whole path.
It's wild how all these things come together, the music, the competition, the big cultural moments all playing out in this chart battle. It makes you think music's never just about the music, right?
There's always something bigger going on, and that's part of why it's so powerful and so interesting to dig into.
You know, this whole thing with Not Like Us got me thinking about diss tracks in general. Like, they're often seen as these temporary things, part of a feud, but sometimes they turn into anthems that go way beyond that original context.
Yeah, that's a great point. It makes you wonder what makes certain diss tracks break free from that initial moment and become something more. Is it the emotion, the wordplay, the timing, or is there something else entirely?
It's definitely something to think about,
Yeah.
and it makes you appreciate the artistry and the strategy behind these tracks. They're not just random insults, they're carefully crafted pieces of music made to have an impact.
And sometimes that impact lasts long after the feud's over. Think about some of the classic diss tracks in hip-hop history. People still talk about them and analyze them today, not just for the lyrics, but for their cultural significance. They become part of hip-hop's legacy.
So what do you think gives a diss track staying power? What makes one stand the test of time when others fade away?
It's a tough question. There's no easy answer. But I think it's often a mix of things. The skill of the artist, the intensity of the rivalry, the cultural moment when it's released, it all plays a role. And of course, there's an element of luck. Sometimes a track just catches fire and takes off.
Yeah, that's the beauty of music, right? It's unpredictable and always evolving. And with how technology and streaming are changing the game, who knows what kind of rivalries and chart battles we'll see in the future.
It's exciting, right? We're in uncharted territory. The rules are changing and artists are finding new ways to reach their fans. It's a dynamic landscape, always shifting. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Well, one thing's for sure, as long as there's music, there's going to be competition. And as we've seen with Kendrick and Drake, that competition can push artists to do amazing things, inspire them to create truly incredible music.
Absolutely. And in the end, that's what matters. The rivalries, the chart battles, it's all part of a bigger story about creativity, innovation, and the power of music to really connect with people.
So the next time you see a chart battle heating up, remember, it's more than just a popularity contest. It's a glimpse into the heart of the music industry, a look at how creativity works, and a reminder that even in the middle of all that competition, there's a love for music that brings us all together.
It's a journey worth taking, and we're all on it together.
That's a great way to put it. And on that note, we'll leave you to think about all the ins and outs of musical rivalries and what gives a diss track real staying power. Keep those playlists going, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.